So I begin by acknowledging the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, their elders past and present, and future, and also respecting the Indigenous people of our country. Usually that's where the reflection on the Indigenous people finishes, and people go on to talk about what they want to talk about. But today it's not like that, because we are here to talk about specifically the injustices that have been visited on the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people of Australia by the law. And I'm here to help launch this wonderful book by Dr. Virginia Marshall. The book is a lawyer's book, but it's a readable book, and it's an exciting book. It starts with how we came about having such horrible laws on the access of the Indigenous people to land and water. The decision of 1847 in the New South Wales Supreme Court that said that land belonged to the Crown, and that understanding was based upon both factual and legal error. The factual error was the belief that the Indigenous people of Australia, the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, were not interested in notions of law, land, ownership, possession, that they were nomadic people who just wandered around and had no real connection to particular places of land and water. Now, that was a factual mistake, and anthropologists increasingly in the 1970s and 80s pointed to the factual error. But it was also a legal mistake in that it deprived Indigenous societies, which had existed for a whole lot longer than the societies of Europe, and not very much shorter of the societies that have been found to have existed in China and Central Asia, that it would have been astonishing and extraordinary if they had not had their own systems of what we call law for land and water. And the important point is, don't approach any of these issues without the most respectful engagement of the Indigenous people themselves. These things can't be just imposed from the top down by very learned people, though the High Court had to intervene and correct the 1847 decision. But these things should emerge from the feelings, experience, traditions and society of the Aboriginal people of Australia. There is a sense of urgency about this. Not enough is being done. There is an action plan here, and that is the great strength of the book. I want to congratulate ASP. It is an excellent book. They used to say that Gough Whitlam always looked at the back of a book to see if there was an entry under W in the book. But I always look at books to try to find a typo, because that proves how carefully I have read the book before launching it. But I couldn't find any typos in this book. I felt very distressed, and I really felt I needed a bit of therapy after I couldn't find a typo. But it is an excellent book, a lovely cover, a good feel about it, wonderful index and supportive footnotes, a real masterpiece. But this is symbolic of an area where we Australians have failed, and it's therefore a very important book, and it happens to be readable, and I congratulate Dr. Virginia Marshall I congratulate her family for putting up with her while she was writing it, and I congratulate her colleagues. She is a hero, and I'm grateful for her work, which is not finished and will go on, and I have great pleasure as a fellow citizen in launching Overturning Aqua Nullius, Securing Aboriginal Water Rights. Virginia Marshall, don't leave here without buying it.